Rev up your engines!
Well, we all know Nissan's in trouble, and now Nissan is closing down a bunch of their Infiniti dealerships, the high-end Nissans, right? And you know why? Because they're not selling very many cars and they're losing money. Same company, it just gave them a different name. Infiniti, Nissan owns them. Nissan insiders revealed during the meeting that they were told that the brand had 12 months to survive or they'll shut the entire Infiniti brand down. What's behind this? People aren't buying them. Infiniti sales have dropped more than 50% in 5 years across the United States. Get this. There's 197 Infiniti dealers in the United States. 197. But each dealership averages selling only 24 cars a month. You can't stay in business that way. Just like Fiat in the United States. They sell such a small amount of Fiats. It's absurd that they even have Fiat dealerships. The end of 2023, 357 Fiat dealers in the United States. And in the first 6 months of 2023, those 357 dealers total sold 280 cars. All of them combined. Less than one car in 6 months per dealership. Well, Infiniti isn't all that bad, but they're getting really close. And the Nissan heads are saying, well, we might just shut this whole thing down. Now, they created their own mess because the Infinitis were overpriced. Their parts are super expensive, which is patently absurd because Nissan owns them. And Nissan used to be a discount car company, right? But this is their luxury band, so they're going to charge so much money. I've had it where somebody bring me a Nissan, a power steering hose, would be like $457. But nobody but Nissan made them because they didn't sell enough cars, so there's no aftermarket, right? Where I could get a Toyota power steering hose aftermarket for as little as $90 for quality ones. You get them a lot cheaper for junky ones, but I'd buy the $90 ones. They work perfectly fine. Instead of all that 5-6 times more for the Infiniti, but you could only get the Infiniti at the Infiniti dealer, and it'd screw you over. And they make it hard to get their software, so mechanics like myself, independents, can work on them. They make it super expensive and a pain to get. So a lot of mechanics said, I'm not working on those Infinitis. Too much hassle getting parts for them. Too much hassle getting software information. So people just don't work on the things. And the dealership, sure, they make money fixing them, but when people stop buying them, there aren't going to be any out there to fix. And now they are shutting down a bunch of them. They're not shutting them all down, but they're shutting down quite a few of them. Now, they didn't mention how many they're going to, but they said that they're going to shut down a swath of Infiniti dealers in the United States. Hey, they're not selling cars, they're not making any money. What's the point of having them? Well, they're striking in Germany for Volkswagen, and now Volkswagen has offered a 14% wage increase over 4 years at their Tennessee factory. Now, realize their Tennessee factory is the center for electric car production for Volkswagen in North America. They're not doing so well selling the things. Maybe that's why Volkswagen said, well, it's going to be 14% over the next 4 years. Who knows? They may not be making electric cars 4 years from then. People don't start buying them, they're going to stop making them. Make a bunch of stuff, nobody buys it. All it does is pile up, and then you got all that money tied up. If you don't understand much about the car business, companies build the cars. Then they sell the cars to dealerships. But see, the dealerships don't actually buy the cars outright. They're just like most people. They finance them. The bank will give them a loan of 40, 50, 100 million, whatever. Every time that car's sitting for a month, they got to pay the monthly note on that car. So if they got 10 electric cars sitting on their lot, nobody's buying. And if they sit there for 10, 12 months, which I've seen happen at many Ford dealers, GM dealers, people around here, especially Tennessee, they don't want to buy them. They have paid 10 notes that they didn't want to pay. They're losing money. So there's only a certain amount that you can build and have sitting around. Then people just start refusing. The dealerships will start refusing. Say, no, don't send us anymore. We can't sell the ones we have, which is the case of a lot of them now. So these workers in Volkswagen, hey, they're offering them more money because they're unionized here in Tennessee at the Volkswagen factory at least. Who knows if that's going to work out for either side? Maybe they'll get more money. Maybe they'll hold out for more money. But ultimately, where the rubber hits the road, if people don't buy these electric Volkswagens, it won't matter what they say they're going to pay the people because they will end up shutting the factory down. And if you don't know it, originally when Volkswagen came to the United States, they started building a bunch of Volkswagens in Pennsylvania. But then they ended up shutting that factory down. They had a lot of quality control problems and stuff like that. So I don't think that they can't shut factories down. It's a business. They can do whatever they want. Now, here's what I have to say about all these people that think electric cars are the future. Oh, we're all going to be driving electric cars really soon. Well, there's no power grid for it. Now listen to this. After 4 years and billions of dollars spent, the Texas grid isn't fixed. This is the Texas power grid, right? Not the whole nation, just one state. They spent billions and the grid still isn't fixed for normal uses, for houses, for businesses, right? Now Texas has 30 million people, okay? That's only 10 million less than the entire population of Canada. If all those 30 million people started driving electric cars, that grid would fall apart. It's still having problems after billions are put into the grid to do what it's supposed to do, people's houses and businesses. Imagine adding millions and millions of cars that have to be charged up that use a tremendous amount of electricity when you're plugging them in. And if you plugged in thousands of them in a small area, you'd probably blow the transformers, the older wires would fry, circuit breakers would be popping all over the place. There's no grid for it, and a grid is extremely expensive to repair. I even asked a lineman in Boston when I was there. I said, what do you think about electric cars? He says, our grid is a piece of crap. He said, I spend my entire days going around New England fixing these crappy power lines. Said there's no way that you could put all that power in to charge all their cars. It wouldn't hold it. And look at Texas. They just spent billions and the grid still isn't fixed for what it's doing now, not including adding the charging for a bunch of electric cars. So, if you live in fantasy land, keep dreaming about battery electric cars. But if you live in the real world, hold out on buying an electric car. Maybe there'll be a grid in 10, 20 years. I kind of doubt it. Maybe they'll have batteries that'll go a million miles. I kind of doubt that too. But as of now, they don't. So just listen to me. Don't buy an electric car. Well, the hits keep on coming. I told you the other day, Cruise is being shut down by GM, which costs them billions, $10 billion. Well, now Microsoft's losing $800 million because they were involved in it too. They were a partial partner, right? Now, they're writing it off their income tax. And as usual, you need to be a tax accountant to understand what they're doing. Microsoft is going to take an $800 million impairment charge. Whatever that means, they're writing it off their taxes. They invested in Cruise in 2021. Well, at least they only lost $800 million, not $10 billion like GM did. But Microsoft is so big, get this. Now, writing off this $800 million loss is estimated to have a negative effect on Microsoft stock of, get this, 9 cents a share. 9 cents. Okay, this is a $449 stock as of today. And losing that money was only going to affect them, they said, 9 cents a share. Of course, there's a lot of shares out there, right? But still, by the stupid self-driving stuff. And now Honda, who was also a minority investor, they're saying that they're cutting all funding. They were going to use GM and Cruise to launch a taxi robo service in Japan, and now they gave up with it too. There's no saying how much Honda lost, but nothing like Microsoft. They didn't put a big amount of money into it. They just thought they'd have self-driving robo taxis in Japan. Now that they're gone, that's the end of that. Well, Ford's new Mustang has just been crowned the fastest American road car because it set a new record for American road cars at that Nürburgring racetrack in Germany where they test all the supercars, right? It did it in under 7 minutes, which is a fast speed for a normal car. Now, of course, this was not a normal car. The normal Mustang's 500 horsepower. This one was souped up for 815 horsepower, so it was a specially made one, right? And it didn't set any record for the track itself because it did it in 6 minutes, 57.685 seconds, okay? The fastest lap ever was 5 minutes, 19.55. So, nowhere near the fastest time ever, just for an American production sports car. Blah, blah, blah. But that was a production car, so it wasn't a special race car. It was a production car, too. Ford, of course, is using it for advertising. We got the fastest American road car speed. They got so many asterisks when it comes to racing records that make your head spin, right? Now, it is kind of an achievement because it was faster than one of the Porsches, but then they souped up the Porsche, and the Porsche went faster, too. So, I mean, you can keep souping things up and go. But it says something because it's a real racetrack. It's not just straightaways. And back in the day, the American cars could never do anything there. they could go fast in a straight line. So the Mustangs do corner a lot better than they used to. I'll say that. And they're super fast. There's no arguing that. But hey, it wasn't even near a record. Jeez, that was more than a minute faster. That's really fast. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.